for the longest time when I try to rig a character, I typically just create the symbol, which has already been created. So let's just uncreate and recreate the symbol. I'd always just create the symbol and then I will distribute to layers. I already have it set to a keyboard shortcut. And then when I want to add the audio, okay, let me just extract the audio from here. So when I set up the audio, what I'll do is copy with Ctrl-Alt-C, and then I paste it into the symbol. And typically, because of the way pasting symbols works, it will extend the frames. However, every other frame will not be extended because, well, you haven't pasted anything to it, I guess. So you have to manually go to the end of the frame and hit F5 to add the extra frames. Now that's all fine and dandy, but what if you wanted to nest some things, like say nest the torso, or nest the legs. Now you have to repeat the same song and dance again. Paste and then do all this. And then paste and then do everything again. And this is pretty tedious. I mean, it's not that tedious for like one character, but if you have to if you have a scene where there's several characters, it becomes even more grating and even more tedious to do. Way too tedious to manage. Especially since you also have to delete all the other layers and such. And it becomes such a hassle. You have to delete all the empty layers. Yeah, it becomes such a hassle. If you have to do it for multiple characters at a time, that it's just not really worth it. It's a quicker way. Anyway, let's actually test it here. So for all the character rigs, I've already done this tedious work. But now I'm going to show you something less tedious. So on pin, there's... As you can see, the job is quite a bit incomplete. It is quite a bit incomplete. Because the face and the legs don't line up and there are empty layers everywhere. Less here, but more here. So let me just demonstrate two commands that can do this pretty speedily. You don't even need to select anything. So these commands are delete empty layers and fill empty frames. Here I'm going to demonstrate delete empty layers. Since there are empty layers here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here, go to delete empty layers, which handily has a good keyboard shortcut. So I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut. If you don't know how to use the keyboard shortcuts, what I do is, yeah, you could tell that I use keyboard shortcuts a lot. Anyway, you go edit keyboard shortcuts and make sure the commands are downloaded in the commands folder for this to work. You could search manually, or you can just type it in. Delete. And delete empty layers should show up. Same here for fill empty frames. I've already set the keyboard shortcuts, but it's pretty simple to do that. If there is no keyboard shortcut, all you do is just click the shortcut area and then click that. Don't hit cancel, hit OK instead. It will save it as a separate thing. If you have EDAP tools, use the EDAP keyboard shortcut sets because it might break if it's not using the EDAP shortcuts for whatever reason, which sucks. But yeah. Anyway, let's demonstrate. Delete empty frames, and as you can see, now we have the audio layer and the torso and the legs layer. And no other layer. Just like that. And let's repeat the process here. Delete. And all those empty layers are gone. Okay, so we clicked the wrong thing. Now here, there are no empty layers, so if we try delete empty layers here, it won't do anything. So the next thing to do is fill empty frames. This is where we can demonstrate that. Fill empty frames. As you can see, it has now filled the whole frames. All the frames have been filled at that point. And because the legs also have it, let's do it on the legs as well. And just like that! And just like that! The legs are now actually fixed. Everything is now solved and set up properly, and now I can rig pin with the symbols.
Okay, well that's an ugly face. Very ugly.
But yeah. Really basic pose. And it's just flipping icy off or something. Yeah, this pose sucks, but point still stands. Now let me just revert all this and save it. Revert all these changes because I don't want this to be the actual animation.
Okay, too much.
And yeah, now every character is set up properly. And I'm gonna save this because I need this. So yeah, there we go. It is now finished.